Hi there, my name's Murph, and this is Prog Monster, a site dedicated to classical rock music. So today we're going to be starting a new video series, and this will be the first of them, and I'm going to try this out. I've had an idea for some time now about something I wanted to do, and I have an idea for the first video as well, so I thought I would give this a try and see how this works out. So I don't know if any of you have ever had this, but when I was a kid, I used to have this fantasy of, oh, what if this guy played with that band? Or what if this guy played with this band? Or what if these two bands got together and did this? And I think this idea originally came from, I think it was in 81. I want to say it was in 81 or possibly 1980. Rush and Max Webster got together and did that song, Battle Scar, which I really liked. And it just put these ideas in my head. And, throughout my youth, we used to talk about it all the time. And so the idea for this video came initially from there and has progressed since there, which is fantasy rock band. Okay, not just, would I have liked to seen Jimi Hendrix played with ELP? Yes, but that's not going to happen. So there's no point in trying to have a fantasy band like that. I want something that's real first, that there's a chance that these guys could actually get together and play together. The other qualifying thing about it is that they have to kind of know each other and have some kind of familiarity with each other's music. Otherwise, the chances of them getting together are not great. Like, you're not going to get a new wave band teaming up with someone like, I don't know, Billie Eilish or whatever. It's just that kind of thing just won't happen. I mean, it could happen, but it's not likely to happen. The other qualification is that, in my case, because it's going to be a classical rock band, all parts of the rock band should be filled by people that are suited to that position and are going to be able to contribute something to the band. Otherwise, they're not going to want to do it, right? So, having said all that, I have an idea for a particular band to put together, and I wanted the band not to sound like either of the other two bands. I wanted them to have a similar type genre, in this case progressive rock, but be very different sounding. And I think that, if you had certain people fill certain spots, you might get a similar sound as one or the other band. So I decided that I would come up with these guys. Now, the next part of this that kind of stimulated was me, and I think some of you probably have figured out where I'm going with this. When Yes was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame by Rush, I thought, wow, that's amazing, because those were my two favorite bands. So to come up with this concept wasn't a far-reaching thing because of the situation for each of those two bands. So anyways, so here's what I had decided, or here's what I think an idea is. I haven't given the band a name. I figured they could do that on their own, but if they ever got together. But for me, I would like to see Geddy Lee on bass and vocals. Maybe do a little keyboards on the side, if that was arrangeable. Of course, Alex Lifeson would do all the guitars because the guy's a riff master and very good acoustically and can play a lot of different sounds of music, which is very a lot of guitar players can play one sound really well, but they don't necessarily have that ability to do all kinds of different sounds, and I think he does. I think I've seen him do this. So those two would be my two members from Rush. Since they don't have a drummer, it makes sense. So the other band, of course, is going to be Yes, but not all of Yes and not all of its members, just certain people that I think are kind of available to do something like this. One of them has to be John Anderson. They need a vocalist. And nothing against Geddy Lee. I think he's a great vocalist, but Chris Squire was a great vocalist too, and they still had John Anderson. So I think this would be a nice combination for vocals here. And the addition also to both Alex Lifeson and Geddy Lee have written almost all the music for Rush. So they're both fairly good at writing music. Not so good at lyricists because that was Pert's job, but John Anderson, on the other hand, can write lyrics. Some people don't like his lyrics, but he can write them, and he writes them fairly well. So he would be my choice for the vocalist. Of course, for keyboards, Rick Wakeman, and because him and John Anderson have toured together recently, have a kind of a relationship together, I think he would be an awesome fit here into this. So we have him on keyboards as well. Then the drummer. So the drummer is the big thing for me, because we don't have Neil Peart here because he's gone, but and I don't want another Neil Peart sounding person like Mike Portnoy or somebody like that who can play all of Peart's stuff, because there'd be too much of a Rush influence there. I don't really want that. So I decided that I thought that, even though he's retired now, I think he would come back for, musicians are always retired, but, the right circumstance or the right type of thing that they would like to do would drive them to come back. Even if they don't do a tour, but do an album, or do one or the other, or do both, that's fine too. But I was thinking of Bill Bruford, because he doesn't sound anything like Peart, yet he's a great drummer. I don't think he would give them a very yesy sound either, since he also played with King Crimson. He's been playing with different bands, and he's shown the ability to adapt, right? So here you have it. I almost said Neil Peart. Bill Bruford on the drums, Rick Wakeman on keyboards and synthesizers, Geddy Lee on bass, backing vocals or lead vocals in certain situations, or co-vocals, I guess, if you prefer that, and maybe keyboards where there's two keyboards required for a different sound. Alex Lifeson playing all guitars, and John Anderson on vocals. And Anderson is, of course, a natural for writing the music, and you have Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson as your main music writers. Now, I know that Rick Wakeman can do some stuff too, but Rick Wakeman seems to be one of those guys who can lighten a seriousness of a situation too, which I think works well. Now, whether Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson want to do something like this, who knows? I think John Anderson would be the catalyst for this to start it, if it would ever happen, because he seems to be the type of guy that is always pushing to do different things and seems to be able to come together between people, although he hasn't done so well with Steve Howe lately. Anyways, that would be my fantasy band. As to, I would hope they would do something progressive, but I think that I wouldn't want it to sound like Rush or to sound like Yes. I think it would be nice if it sounded completely different, However, sometimes that's what happens. And this is good because I don't think either Alex or Geddy would want to be in a situation where the music they were making sounded like Rush, and I don't think they would want to do something like that. John Anderson might want to be in a situation to make music like Yes, but maybe he'd like to try something different. He's done this in the past with Vangelis. That was completely different. And I think he's just one of those vocalists, who can work well with people, as long as he's sort of in control. And he might be a little bit in control here. I don't know how this would work out, but so there you have it. So a name for the band, I think they should come up with their own. They're all pretty intelligent guys, very gifted musicians. This could be a really nice marriage here, I think. And whether it lasted one album or a couple albums, at this stage of the game, it really doesn't matter. But it would be nice to see something like that. Nice for the Rush fans who missed Neil Peart quite a bit, and nice because I really enjoyed the Yes Rush thing that they did at the Hall of Fame. And it would be nice to see something like that again. So I don't know if it's a possibility, but let me know what you think. So, leave a comment. I would love to hear some comments and people's suggestions for other bands. I have a couple of other ideas which I'll explore in the later videos. And if you like what I just did here, let me know, and I'll do more of this stuff. I love doing this stuff. And subscribe if you really want to see more of the kind of stuff that I plan on doing in the future. anyways, this is Murph signing off from Prog Monster, and we'll talk to you later.